This week on Geeking Out, Sea Bear and Grizzly Shark, number 1. Zombies vs. Cheerleaders, number 1. X-Men, Curse of the Mutant Saga, number 1. After Dark, number 1. Jurassic Park, number 1. Prince of Persia, number 1. Green Lantern, number 55. Batman Beyond, number 1. Funrama presents The Mutant Punks, number 1. And The Secret Avengers, number 2.
Hey there, fans of Comic Land, it's Leila here from the Comic Connection with this week's comic book reviews. First up, we've got Batman Beyond number 1 of 6 by Adam Beechin and Ryan Benjamin. In this one, the adventures of Terry McGinnis as Batman Beyond continue in the series based on the popular animated series. So in this particular issue, McGinnis and Wayne are tracking a murderer with connections to the old Batman. So, this was a great story, great art. It captured everything that was awesome about the animated series to me. The banter between Terry and Bruce and the cool action sequences, they're all here. So if you're a fan of Batman Beyond, you're really going to love the comic book series. Next up, we've got After Dark number 0 by Fuqua, Snipes, Milligan, and Nentrup. In this future world, mankind struggles to survive in Solar City. Amidst the unrest, there's hope, a shared vision of a woman referred to as Angel. Is she the savior of humanity? So, like many radical books, it's visually stunning. You're not going to be disappointed by the look of the book, but I gotta say that I wasn't really grabbed by the story. It didn't really interest me. This could be a good movie when it comes out. I'm not sure. I might just wait for that because the comic book didn't really get across the story in a way that grabbed you, at least in the first issue. But if you like visually stunning books, then definitely this is one to pick up. Next up, we've got Secret Avengers number 2 by Brubaker, Diodato, and Conrad. So in case you missed it, Steve Rogers has assembled the Secret Avengers as a Black Ops unit. Its members are War Machine, Black Widow, Moon Knight, Ant-Man, Beast, Valkyrie, and Nova. And he's appointed Sharon Carter to sort of be their handler or their overseer. So in this issue, Sharon tries to track down the thieves who stole the serpent crown from underneath her nose, and Steve tries to find out where Nova has gone missing on Mars. And they run afoul of some soldiers swearing allegiance to the Lord of Shadows. And at the same time, Nick Fury is trying to chase down the third crown. So this is another great issue. I really like the Avengers stuff that started over, particularly this book. There's lots of action and intrigue. It's kept me really interested so far with the strong art and storytelling. So if you want a Avengers team with some different kind of members, this is definitely a good read. Okay, next up we've got Prince of Persia, Before the Sandstorm, number 1 by Jordan Mechner, Tom Fowler, and Bernard Chang. So in this one, the origins of Prince Dastan are revealed through the tale of a thief named Sheikh Amar. So we find out about how he fell in love with a woman that he can't have, and how he was imprisoned by the evil Grand Vizier Jafar, and the mystical origins of his powers. So like I say, I really like this. I like the Prince of Persia video games, and I haven't seen the movie yet, but this one is pretty good. It has a good story, good art. It was surprising, based on a comic book, or a comic book based on a video game doesn't always go well, and there's lots of different Prince of Persia comics and properties out there, but this one was really well done, so definitely pick it up. Next up, we've got Green Lantern number 55 by Jeff Johns and Doug Mahnke. So in this one, Lobo has to fight his way through Hal Jordan and other members of the Corps in pursuit of his bounty on Atrocitus. Mayhem ensues, of course, and 2 more members are inducted into the Red Lantern Corps. So, I don't often read all the Green Lantern titles, but when I saw that Lobo was on the cover, I have to read this because Lobo is awesome. So this book really didn't disappoint. It's full of the Lobo that you know and love. He's got the quips and the action. The art is amazing. So definitely a good issue to pick up if you're a Lobo fan, and I don't think Green Lantern fans are going to be disappointed either, because while it seems like it's just a throw-off issue because you've got Lobo in it, there are some big things revealed in here that push along the Brightest Day story. So overall, pretty good read. Next up, we've got Zombies vs. Cheerleaders number 1, written by Stephen L. Frank with art by Various. So it all started with a science nerd who decided that he would like to turn the football team into zombies because he's mad that they have been treating him poorly. And then it gets really ridiculous from there. So there's a bunch of interlocking stories, all zombie related of course, and then there are cheerleaders who fight them. So if you like zombie mayhem and crazy funny stuff, then this is definitely the book for you. It's very tongue-in-cheek, but it does a really good job at poking fun at itself too. So I really enjoyed it. Definitely a thumbs up. And last but not least, this is X-Men Curse of the Mutant Saga. It's a preview book that was free to comic book stores this week. It has an interview with X-Men #1 new writer Victor Gershler and a preview of #1. And there's also a preview for Wolverine #1, which is starting up in September. And there's a bunch of character summaries for some key people that are going to be in this Curse of the Mutant Saga, which revolves around basically the X-Men and vampires. Because vampires are popular right now, so let's just do some more vampire stuff and put it in the X-Men. But it could be interesting, at least from what I've seen so far, so make sure that you pick this up. Also, I didn't review it this week, but it might be important to this whole thing. The Death of Dracula one-shot, you might want to go out there and grab it, because apparently it's a bit of a preview for this stuff here. See you next week.
Hey folks, Jim here with this week's Comic Reviews. First up, Happy Canada Day and Happy Independence Day to all our fans. First up, Funrama presents The Mutant Punks #1, written and drawn by Ryan Kelly. And in this one, we meet the mutant punks and grab a peek into their lives as they plunder a mall, steal a bike from a kid, and visit the president. With the mayhem they cause, will they ever be crucial players in the world of Funrama? No. But it's a fun book. If you're a fan of Ryan Kelly's older stuff from Image and DC and stuff, you might enjoy this. I actually had a lot of fun. There's some very interesting character development in this, and the art is simply gorgeous. It's a weird story. I can't really get into it too much, but it's odd to say the least. So if you're a fan of Ryan Kelly's stuff, you might want to check it out because it's only available via his blog and everything like that. Next up, Sea Bear and Grizzly Shark, one shot, written and drawn by Ryan Otley and Jason Howard. And in this one, in the first story, which is about the dreaded sea bear, a young man is out for revenge on the savage sea bear that killed his family, but winds up finding something more disturbing. And in the tale of the Grizzly Shark, a bunch of rednecks hunt down a grizzly shark and are killed one by one in various gruesome ways. Okay, the origin for these two creatures, as it were, was written by Robert Kirkman, who did The Walking Dead. So I was expecting a little more, but it's funny nonetheless. If you're a fan of the really crappy Asylum films, you're going to love this. This is just corny as all get out. I didn't like the sea bear story as much as I loved the grizzly shark story because it was just too funny, with people getting decapitated and ripped limb from limb every other page by this grizzly shark. And the fact that a kid gets ripped in half and survives the entire story and makes jokes about it is just the most funny thing I have read this summer. If you like really corny horror films or anything like that, you're going to enjoy this. And last, and unfortunately least, is Jurassic Park #1, written by Bob Schreck with art by Nate Van Dyke. And in this one, it's been 13 years since Tim and Lex Murphy escaped the horrors of Jurassic Park, but now a secret deal is struck upon to open a new park in the States. Chaos Theory, anyone? Yeah. Problem with IDW is they have great cover artists. Yeah, nice, really nice cover here. Terrible interior art. I mean, terrible. Story-wise, it's okay, but IDW really needs to hire better interior artists. When you have Frank Miller and other artists doing your covers, get at least a competent artist to draw your book. We'll see you next week.